Hello, 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 hello. So, today we will be doing the first tarot readings for the new year. And as part of that, I have this fluorite wand, which I'm going to be using to just gently brush your energy and going to be pointing at you to fill you with positive energy. The decks that I'm going to use this month, I'm going to use my Tarot Mukha deck, and then I'm also going to use some other Art Nouveau style decks, the Art Nouveau Lenormand, and my astrological oracle cards. And to go along, grab my lighter, sorry, to go along with the purification, we're going to be starting a new year. So anything that you want to leave behind in 2020, just direct it toward the flame. Let's do some breathing together. Breathe in and hold and release, and just release everything that you've been holding on to that you want to let go of. And breathe in and hold and release. Breathe in and hold and release. Great. Great job. Great job. Great job. Great job. Great job. I have this stick of frankincense. Also, I love frankincense. I'm just gonna blow a little bit of this smoke all over you. And if there's anything else, I'll give you one more chance since we're starting a new year. If you have resolutions that you'd like to make, anything that you'd like to leave behind, just focus your intention and release any negative energy into the candle. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great job. Great job. Great job. Great job. Great job. Great job. Hi, Sagittarius. Let's look at your January ahead for 2021. So, excuse me, I'm so sorry. First of all, I'm going to take out the Sagittarius card and the Sun card, and those will go in the first house. And I'll do that because this reading is for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And that will be you, the significator, in the first house, the rising, and with the sun, so self being there. I'm not going to do the same thing with the moon, but this reading will be appropriate for Sagittarius moon sign energy as well. That helps to narrow it down just a little bit for your energies. So we have Sagittarius in the first, Gemini in the second, Aries in the third, Aquarius in the fourth, Virgo in the fifth, Cancer in the sixth house. We have Leo in the seventh house, Libra in the eighth house, Capricorn in the ninth, Taurus in the 10th, Scorpio in the 11th, and finally Pisces in its native house, the 12th house. Alright, is any other... No, none of these other signs are in their natives. Scorpio had a lot of signs in their natives. And I laid it out. Now I'm not going to read this like this. I'm going to overlay the Celtic cross spread, and then use these 12 houses to augment the meanings in that reading. Right? So, we've got the sun here, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, Venus, Mars, Pluto, the moon, Neptune, and Uranus. So Neptune and Uranus are over here near the 11th and 12th houses. Let's get and overlay the Celtic cross for you, Sagittarius. Right there is the significator, past, present, future. Final outcome. Your opinion of the current situation. Outside opinions of the current situation. Your hopes and fears. And what is to be. This is your goal or destiny card, and this is the final outcome. I just want to clarify. Right, Sagittarius. Let's see what we have going on here. We have very interesting. So this is you appearing right off the bat in your own reading as the Queen of Wands. This is someone who's confident, gregarious, really lights up a room when they walk in. You don't have to be a woman to be the Queen of Wands energy. Could be a party animal type too. But the difference between the king and the queen is that the queen is receptive water of fire, and the king is active air of fire. Okay? Crossing the significator, we have the Eight of Wands. Something could be coming to a very swift end at this time for you. A swift resolution. So it doesn't have to be a bad ending. It could just be a swift resolution to some situation. Let's look here at the past. So touching the past, we have the 12th house of endings. We have Pisces in its native psychic intuition, and also your internal emotional states. Cancer is more about external emotional states, and Pisces more about internal. And actually, in direct opposition to this Pisces, we do have Cancer over here in your daily routines and your health, the 6th house. So, what does this mean? What does it all mean? I feel like there's a direct link between your emotional states and your mental and physical health at this time, possibly. Uranus is the iconoclast. There could be new ideas coming in as well. So here in the past, we have the Page of Wands. Now, this is very interesting because the Page of Wands is the lower vibrational version of the Queen of Wands here. Page of Wands is Earth of Fire, and Queen of Wands is Water of Fire. So there's been an evolution of yourself from this creative spark of energy into this social butterfly. Down here in the second house, we have Gemini. There's a certain amount of Gemini that has to do with duality. It's also about communication with others, ideas. We have Mercury, which rules Gemini here, associated with your second house as well. This is the house of possessions. So the things that you have. There could be lines of communication with people. You could have the potential for short distance travel or ideas. There's quite a bit of idea energy kind of floating around in this nascent space here, lingering around your past, that I think you have tapped into to some extent, Sagittarius. We're going to look now at the current state of affairs in a little more detail. So this is close to your Imam Sili, which is the nadir of the chart. The midheaven being, of course, the apex or zenith of the chart. And then, of course, your descendant over here in the 7th house. Direct opposition. And as I mentioned before, your 12th house, we have this direct opposition where we've got Pisces and Cancer, the internal and the external emotional states looking at each other. But we'll get back to that. Here we have in your 3rd house, Aries, which is about beginnings. So the start to a new communication possibly. And we do have Mercury and Gemini and Aries all here together. That kind of tells me that there's the beginning to some new idea, some new communication, or some new potential for short distance travel. We have Aquarius here in your 4th house of home and family. Also idea related, idea adjacent. This is somebody who's a manifester. So there could be something going on. We have Jupiter and Saturn here too. Now Jupiter and Saturn are just about to go into Aquarius if they haven't at this time. There's going to be that conjunction, which it's very interesting, Sagittarius. This keeps coming up for you. This conjunction that occurs on December 21st in Aquarius, the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. So here they both are, and it's in your 4th house. This could be that you are spending the winter solstice at home. There could be a party of some kind that you're planning. This could be an anniversary between you and a loved one, or a birthday, somebody's birthday. It could be your birthday. But I really feel like there's going to be there could be something really important that happens specifically on the winter solstice and coincides with this conjunction for you. But it could also kind of be a turning point of some kind. It could be a moment of change. I guess I do have this card in my hand. Maybe this will tell us more about it. We have the 6 of Wands here, and it's in the reverse. The 6 of Wands has to do with victory. because it's in the reverse here, it's possible that victory isn't happening just yet. It could be a victory deferred. Or it could be that you find out that you've been chosen for something or that you've won something, but you're not going to receive the honors until a later date. Let's look here. We've got your perspective on the situation here, and we have outside perspectives on the situation here. So we've already kind of talked about the atmosphere over here in this corner with Gemini in the second and Aries in the third. And you're also very adjacent to the past here. You're very mindful of this past situation where you were but a page of wands. We have the Justice card coming out. So you are going to feel justified in this. You're going to feel like justice has been served. Justice is also Libra energy and therefore air energy also. Let's look over here at other people's opinions. Other people's opinions. So we have Virgo in the 5th house. Virgo in the 5th house has to do with creativity. It could be about child rearing. It can also be about romance. And Virgo brings to that an attention to detail. Can also verge on neuroses and an analytical mind. So, very much like crossover between right and left brain hemispheres. Over here in the 6th house, we have Cancer, the home and family. And we did talk about that a little bit when we were talking about that opposition to Pisces in the 12th house. So Cancer having to do with your emotional states bouncing off of other people. Daily routines and your health. It could be that your emotions are greatly affecting your health at this time. Venus is here too. Venus can very much be about romantic situations. The 5th house can be about romantic situations, but you could be looking at those romantic situations with a much more analytical mind. And your daily routines and your emotions, the emotional routines that you get into with other people, that being impacted by Venus here in the 6th house. Saturn is also here kind of on the 5th house. Now 5th house energy and Saturnian energy are not exactly good friends. Saturn is a very heavy energy. It's very much about concretion, establishment, long-term plans and activities. So, on the one hand, it might not be totally congruous with this, but there might be long-term goals that you have that are very much part of this 5th house energy. And especially if you're looking at these things with that analytical Virgo part of your mind. Remember, everyone has aspects of every astrological sign within them. And Sagittarius, I think people are seeing you emerge as your true form. We've got this Knight of Wands energy here. Fire of fire. And the Knight of Wands, of course, incorporates the horse that Sagittarius is known for. It's a very active energy. So there could be a lot of activity going on with you at this time, and there could be some kind of culmination occurring around the time of this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius. It is really interesting to me that that came up specifically in your reading, not only here in the cards, but I remember when I was doing the crystal scrying about it like a few weeks ago, I think. Let's look at the future. So here in the 7th house, we have Leo. The 7th house is partners and open enemies. It can also be about legal matters and anywhere where you're seeking parity and equality in your life. Mars is this very active energy, and combined with Leo, Leo's a playful energy, it's a very confident energy, and it's a fellow fire sign. But while Leo is fixed fire, you are mutable fire. So we have that coming to play as well. Here in the 8th house, Libra, more about that parity. And the 8th house being about endings and beginnings. It can also be about other people's resources. We have Pluto here. Pluto is a very analogous planet to the 8th house energies. So there might be an ending of some kind. And it might be precipitated by you desiring parity. It might be precipitated by this very playful yet very active energy. I see you really taking off around this time, Sagittarius. Oh, this is a great card to get for your future. We have the Sun. The Sun is good things all the time. And it's in the upright, so there's no question there as to whether or not good things will be happening. They absolutely will. Let's look up here at your hopes and fears. You have the 5 of Cups in the reverse. You're afraid of irredeemable disappointment. But I haven't seen anything about that so far. I know that it can be a little frightening for some people to go rushing headlong into situations with your blinders on and not really seeing what's in front of you. But I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do at this time, and I think it will lead you to the outcome that you desire. Let's look here. So we're looking at the 9th house. We're also going to look at the 10th house, which will be your midheaven. We've got, oh, I just noticed this too. So we've got the Pisces in opposition to Cancer, that's water energies, and the ascendant being a Sagittarius, then your descendant would be the Leo over here, which is fire energies. So you have this dichotomy between water and fire energies here. Up here in the 9th and 10th houses, we've got Capricorn in the 9th. The 9th house is all about elevating your state, and it is all the things that you do to achieve that. So school, travel, spiritual matters that aren't necessarily related to religion, right? And Capricorn is about career, and the things around you that you use to improve your situation. So there could be a linking of those things. You could be getting a job where you travel a lot. You could also be doing some kind of work that improves the lives of other people, whether that's working with Meals on Wheels or people who are less advantaged, social work, something like that. Working as a lawyer pro bono, some kind of thing like that. Taurus here is in your house of career, the 10th house. And Taurus is very linked to material things. So there could be a potential for financial stability in this career. We have the moon here. Moon can be emotional things. It can be artistic things too. And we did have some artistic sorts of energy down here that may or may not be related to career as well as romance. We've got active water energy here with Neptune, kind of bordering on Taurus. And this transitional and death-related energy with Pluto kind of touching on Capricorn as well. It could be hospice care, any number of things. The moon could also be hidden things. So this could be something that is just now coming to light. Let's find out. We have the Three of Wands here. This is about your ships coming in. Any energies that you've put out there, returning, making their dividends to you. And we'll look at the final outcome. I've already talked about Pisces a little bit. We've got Scorpio here in the 11th house. Scorpio having to do with other people's resources. Can also have to do with endings and beginnings. One of other people's biggest resources is their physical body. So sex is tied into that too. Their time is also tied up in that. So it can be death related to other people. It can be death related to you. It can be transitions between states. The 11th house energy is innovation, and it can also be about manifestation. You might be manifesting a new state for yourself, the beginning of a new cycle. And we have Uranus here. Adding to that, we've got Neptune here, this active water energy, supplementing that Scorpio energy with the water, the watery being. This final outcome. I'm going to pull some cards about this because the Emperor in the reverse could go one of two ways in this position. And I want to make sure, now based on everything else that I see here, the way that I'm inclined to read it is that you will have the stability of this Emperor situation at some point in the future, but it won't be coming in January. Now, another thing that the Emperor in reverse can mean is that you are driven to totalitarian tendencies and you become a bit of a despot. And the only reason why I even bring that up is because everything is really good right now and yet you're still afraid of total failure. So let me pull some cards about this. And I have my matchy Lenormand deck here. I love Art Nouveau Oracle decks. If you have any that you like very much, please let me know what they are in the comments below. I also have the Ethereal Visions deck, and I just ordered the Golden Art Nouveau deck. But I would love to hear about more of them. Alright, so the first thing we have coming out is luck. That bodes well for your future. We have the home, so that tells me right away, especially because the home is there's 4 walls to a house. I do understand that there are some cultures where the number 4 sounds like the word for death, and is therefore not the same meaning. However, in this particular system, we do have the Emperor is the 4, and then the house being the 4 really speaks to me about stability more than anything else. We do have the snake coming out, and the snake is about somebody who's treacherous, a betrayer in your midst. So now I have to pull some more cards about that. Hold on. Oh, I can't believe this. Everything seems so good, and then the snake comes out. We gotta find out why. Because there's only like a few little ragged edges on this situation. Sagittarius. For the most part, though, it's very good. Alright, so we do have the mice. The mice being that this betrayal is kind of eating away at you. We have the fox coming out. Somebody cunning, or it could be... Okay. Alright, so what I see here is that there might be a situation where you are performing a job for a corporation or a government agency, but that you are not employed by that entity. You are a freelancer. Or you are doing some kind of gig-related work, or work where you have clients, and you might be subsidized by a corporation or by the government. And because of the nature of that kind of entity, keep in mind that the tarot version of the tower is very different from the Lenormand version, so don't confuse the two. But the nature of working for an organization like that is that there are going to be sneaky people there who are trying to take away from what you have. But I think, given all of that information, that eventually you will have this stability. And that's what this is speaking to. And it's only showing up here in the reverse because it's not going to happen in the immediate future. Thank you. 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 Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. And until next time, I hope to see you again very, very soon.